What's up, guys? This is Heist, and welcome to This Week in Rail Preservation News, which is something that I guess I'm gonna start. I did the news update talking about the T1, the Big Boy, and the 223 last week, and then a lot of you in the comments talked about how you come to me for the railroad news, and I am flattered and didn't realize that I was a news source for all these things. So I figured, hey, let's start a series that goes through and talks about what happens in rail preservation, everything. And so this is the first true episode of that, and will it be weekly? Shrug. It's a new format. I can't guarantee it's going to be weekly. I can't guarantee it's going to be even monthly, but if there's enough news, I'll make an episode. And that's the running thought of it. What happened this week or maybe this month in rail preservation? We're going to talk about it and have this as a recurring segment. So hopefully you'll join in and learn something new about what's going on in the world in terms of rail preservation and stuff. With that, I do have my ear to the ground in many different places trying to listen to what's going on, and I'm pretty plugged in a lot of the industry, but I don't know everything and I don't hear everything. So if you've got some news that you would like to see on this show, the email for the channel is on the About page of the YouTube. And as well, I've got a form that you can submit things in on the website, and either way I'll get them and we can work from there. Now on to the news this week, now that we've gotten all the admin out of the way. We're going to bookend things with Railroad Museum news, which is kind of fun, starting with the fact that 491 is back in service at Colorado Railroad Museum for the first time in a year. She was out of service all year getting a new tender cistern, and that was a huge lift to do, both figuratively and literally. Lifting such a big heavy piece of steel was a big deal. Brett and I designed the tender cistern. It took a lot of effort to do that. We did that, we matched the old drawings, and we replicated the patches that were on the cistern behind her in the 1950s, which is presently behind the 494. There's a lot of really cool details about that project that I will share at a later time in its own bespoke video, because it really deserves one. Tenders 101 will be coming sometime soon, because, goodness, we learned a lot through this process. Of course, I had a lot to say there because it's the museum, and I know everything about it, but some of these things are going to be just a little bit on the headline side of things, so some of this is just going to be quick, kind of rapid-fire new things. Out in Michigan, the 1225s returned to steam, also for like the first time in a year. It received a bunch of work previously last year. They had to do some more work to it. It'd been out of service, and it was steamed like just a couple days ago, which is really exciting to see. Obviously, 1225 is the real Polar Express. That is what the locomotive was based on for the film, because 1225, December 25th, if you're out here in the United States with our date format. Speaking of things under steam, quite excitingly in Alaska, the 557 is under steam for the first time in a long time. 557 is an S-160 that was originally built in the 1940s during the World War II effort for everything, was then sent to the Alaska Railroad for operations, and ultimately got sold for scrap back in the day and went down to Washington State to be scrapped. But then it didn't, and it sat dormant for a while, and then it got sent back to Alaska in 2012 and has been under restoration ever since. And they got to blow the whistle on the locomotive for the first time, had the boiler under steam. They're getting so close, it's very exciting. So huge props and love to those folks out in Alaska working on that locomotive. It's coming along quite well, and it's going to be really cool to see it finished. Out in California at the Southern California Railway Museum, which formerly was known as the Orange Empire Trolley Museum to many of us, VC number 2 is continuing its 1472, and they've announced a desire for a new fundraiser because they found that the boiler needs a decent amount of work and some patches in the firebox and all that thing. The link to the fundraiser is down in the description. If you've got a couple bucks that you can spare, I'm sure they would appreciate it. Back to Colorado, the Durango and Silverton announced that they purchased a new caboose. And by new, I mean new to them. 04343 was purchased by the Durango and Silverton. It was a caboose that was built by the DNRGW out of a boxcar, and one of two that exist to this day. It might be one of two that exists, period, with the 04990 being the other at the Colorado Railroad Museum, fun fact. They bought it from a private owner and received delivery of it yesterday, which is quite exciting, and they're going to restore it and utilize it in their operations, which is really cool to see. Something that was languishing away otherwise is now going to get put back into its service on its historic alignment. The Railroad Museum of New England built a new power car utilizing a U.S. Army kitchen car for the frame of that. Very neat. And lastly, I said we were going to bookend things, and this is such a cool bookend, and I'm kind of jealous that I didn't get to see this. Rio Grande Southern number 20, our 10-wheeler from the Colorado Railroad Museum, has made it back to Durango, back to home rails for the first time since 1951, 1952, somewhere in there. The kicker of it is, other than the fact, it's in Durango and it's going to be doing some charters and all that, and more news on that. Keep your ears open. Just saying. The kicker on that is that as a fun surprise based on road construction in Pagosa, they couldn't go over Wolf Creek Pass. And so they took 20 through Montrose, Colorado, and then down and around the RGS original alignment. It was like it was meant to be. You couldn't have written that in a movie that, no, hang on, this pass is closed, or the construction won't allow the size of vehicles they need. We have to go this way. And the way they went was the original alignment. And of course, Jeff and Dusty went down with her and had a lot of fun with it. So I'm shamelessly stealing all of Jeff and Dusty's pictures and videos. It's just spectacular to see. She went over Lizard Head again. She hasn't been to Lizard Head since 1951. It's been more than 70 years. And to see her at the summit and everything, that's just so cool, and I'm glad they took the time. I'm glad that the trucking company was okay with it too, because it meant for something extremely cool for all of us in rail preservation. The next piece of that, of course, is then that the 315 is going to be loaded up today or tomorrow, sometime in the next couple days, and it will arrive to us in Golden and spend a long time with us in Golden, hanging out. It's going to help us operate Polar Express. And as well, it sounds like there's going to be some fun events coming on in the spring with the 315 at the museum, so keep your ears open for that as well. More fun things to come, and we'll talk about them next time on This Week in Rail Preservation News. I hope you liked the format. I hope it was short, sweet, and got the point across. Let me know, please, in the comments. I'd love feedback on this, because I have no idea what this is going to do to the algorithm and if it's useful to many of you or not. So please let me know. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet and just post it as it comes rather than, okay, it's early for members and it's got the outro and everything. So hope that all makes sense. Hope you understand it all. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.